You're the only one I like.
All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Captain 501 broadcast, and welcome to the season finale of the Captain 501 broadcast. Somebody just threw the remote at the TV. I know you say, okay, you have to understand the season must end for there to be more. The season must come to an end in order for there to be more. I know you guys are enjoying the podcast, as am I, okay? But in order for there to be more episodes for you all to enjoy, we have to take this break. And we have to come back fresh and renewed and rejuvenated, all right? Let me remind you guys that episode 1 through 19 are all available up on my pages right now for you all to stream. The video portions are up on YouTube. Audio portions are up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if you guys haven't checked those out yet, go ahead and check them out. Last week was our special Garifuna Settlement Day episode with none other than the incredibly talented and iconic Joshua Arana. It was a really good conversation. So if you guys haven't seen that yet, or if you guys haven't listened to it yet, go ahead and check it out right now. How are you all doing today? How are you guys doing today? I'm doing very well, to be honest. I just finished watching an episode of the Broski Report, and I'm feeling very inspired. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Okay, first things first. The first thing I want to talk about, right? I know that you guys have been waiting for an update on the book, and you know my thoughts about the book and everything, right? Okay, so about the book. Remember I told you guys at the first episode that I was reading Shutter Island, right? So my thoughts on the book, I left the book back in Belize. Okay, let me explain, right? I didn't intentionally left the book in Belize. I had brought the book back with me to the States when I had came back at the ending of August, and I was reading it from then, but what had happened was I took the book back with me to Belize when we went to Belize in September for Carnival, and I had left the book in Belize when we came back from Carnival. I could really go without the judgment, all right? I can feel your judgment behind the screen. And I know, okay, I know. That's not a good thing because I had all intention of reading the book, right? I go back to Belize in like a couple weeks from now. So you know what? Season 2, episode 1, you guys have something to look forward to. I will give you guys an update on the book, all right? Okay, next update. As I had mentioned, approaching the ending of this semester, which means that I can confidently say that I'm about to be a senior now because I'm graduating in May of next year. According to my advisors, I should be meeting all requirements for graduation, and I put that on the advisors because if you're a student as well, you also know how unreliable advisors can be at times, right? But according to them, I'm ready to graduate in May of next year. So if May of next year rolls around and then one of my advisors tells me that I'm not meeting my requirements, then the whole of Belize will just make their way to Houston and we'll see what happens from there. So yeah, those are the 2 updates for now. Okay, now let's talk about season 2. I had already mentioned this to you guys, but you know, we're confirming it now. Season 2 will be happening, and I can also confidently say that season 2, episode 1 will be dropping in January of 2026. All right? I can't give you a specific date as yet. Haven't locked that in officially, but you can look forward to season 2 of the Captain 501 broadcast in January of 2026. As I mentioned, I'm going back to Belize over the Christmas break, so I will be recording new episodes then. I've already been reaching out to people, and guys, I don't want to speak too much because, you know, I know how in the world of media and in the world of producing things are always subject to change. But if this list continues to go the way how I anticipated of going, I've already reached out to people and a couple of people have already said yes. And the people who have said yes so far, listen, season 1 has some competitions. And no, that's a big role to fill. Because in my opinion, season 1 was hit after hit after hit after hit. All right? Every single episode, every single guest episode was an amazing episode. And I'm very proud and grateful for it. Season 2 is kind of holding its own weight. Season 2 is kind of giving season 1 a run for its money. And we haven't even started filming it yet. This is what I'm saying. But anyways, I know not to count my chickens before they hatch. So that's all I'm going to say on that for now. And I know that I mentioned this in the mid-season recap a couple episodes ago. But I have to keep saying it because one of the main things that I've learned from this podcast, one of the main things that I've taken away from this whole production in general is not to doubt myself. Not to doubt myself because I realize that I'm capable of much more throughout this journey. Listen, the amount of time and effort that goes into this project, the amount of energy, dedication that goes into this project. You guys may not know this, but I'm the person who edits all of these episodes. I make the thumbnails, I put the audio up on the different platforms, I make the reels, the promotional content, all of that stuff. There are some days where I would be up until like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning editing in order to ensure that an episode goes out for that Wednesday, while also having schoolwork to do and also maintaining a good grade point average. And I'm also proud to say that despite balancing this, school, and work, we've never missed a Wednesday. We've never missed a Wednesday. We've never missed an upload. Every single Wednesday has gotten an episode. Some weeks we got more than one episode. Listen, right? You all wouldn't know how much went into making this podcast to make sure that everything went well, okay? I gave up Beyonce for this podcast. I was supposed to go to the Cowboy Carter tour this year in June because June she came to Houston. I live in Houston, but guess what? I wanted a podcast. I was in Belize when she was here performing in Houston. Never question my dedication to the craft again, all right? I'm also rocking my my Cowboy Carter jersey today. How fitting. And on top of that too, this semester, when I tell you this semester tried to take me out. this semester, hey, if you know, you know. This semester tried to take me out in more ways than one. And guess what? Even at that, still never missed a Wednesday upload. And you know what? You know, I'm proud of myself. Yeah, I am. I'm very proud of myself. And guess what? I am so prepared to do it all again in season 2. This episode of the Captain 501 broadcast is brought to you by the National Institute of Culture and History, NICH. NICH has been serving Belize for over 20 years as Belize's premier cultural institution dedicated to safeguarding and preserving culture and history. Whether it's divisions like the Institute of Archaeology or the Institute of Social and Cultural Research, NICH has created various outlets to maintain an open and collaborative approach to cultural heritage and arts promotion, management, and cultural safeguarding with its various stakeholders. You can learn more about the resources provided by NICH by visiting the Museum of Belize or the Museum of Belizean Art located in Belize City, the various houses of culture located countrywide, as well as visiting nichbelize.org or other websites such as the 501 Academy and Access 501. Guys, Christmas is coming up soon, right? And if you've been a follower of mine for a good while now, you've known you've known how much I enjoy the Christmas season. Right now, I'm very much looking forward to, for one, the Christmas parade, but also one of my favorite things on Christmas Day is the cake and ham. The traditional cake, coke, and ham. That is, listen, right? Listen, you're not doing Christmas correctly if you don't have the cake and ham. And also, let me just say this, right? When this Christmas rolls around, I don't want to hear none of the American Christmas music. I don't want to hear none of the traditional, the pop song and stuff like that. Yes, I could play it every now and again, but when I drive around the city, when I blast the radio in my vehicle, I want to hear parang soca. I want to hear chutney soca, and I want to hear, can't have Christmas without the play drink a rum on a Christmas morning. I ready for drive around and for see everybody house decorate up. Who they got a bram this year? Who they got a bram this year? Wanna make a know. And also, being that we're approaching the Christmas season, it also means that we're approaching New Year's, the end of the year, which also means that we're approaching my end of the year content. Listen, I'm never not creating. And the problem is nobody is forcing me to do this. Like I'm doing it to myself. I do it to myself. I have nobody to blame but myself. But it's a tradition and I'm not going to break that tradition. My end of the year content is coming up, guys. Be on the lookout for that as well. So even though we won't be having new episodes of the 501 broadcast, you're always still going to be getting new content out of me. I'm never not creating. And of course, in order to see that content, be sure to be following me on my different social media platforms at Captain Cadle on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook to see what else I'll be doing while we take this very short break. All right, now I need you all to lock in. I need you all to take a seat and listen up very carefully because I'm going to be giving my my Oscar winning, my Golden Globe, my Emmy, Grammy award winning speech. Okay, because there are a lot of people who I have to thank for making this podcast, the 501 broadcast, a reality. First of all, I have to thank the main sponsor of this podcast, the National Institute of Culture and History. I've been fortunate enough to work with Niche for projects in the past, such as Destination 501, and we also did some other cultural videos which are still up on my channel right now for you guys to go and watch. I don't think a lot of these episodes would have been possible if it wasn't for the generosity of the National Institute of Culture and History, and I'm very grateful that a big institute like Niche would trust in my vision and have that confidence in me to produce something and knowing that their support is going towards creating something good. I also want to say a big thank you to Mr. Yasser Musa as well. Mr. Yasser was my art teacher back in SJC, and we kind of reconnected long after graduation. I think it was like last year or the year before, where we had started to work together on different projects. He as well was a big part of Destination 501. He's sort of become like a mentor in that way, where he's given me some great advice on, you know, tips for the podcast, tips for producing, and tips for, you know, making sure that everything aligns culturally and historically. And I'm very grateful for that as well too. I'm very grateful for him and the National Institute of Culture and History. He's also an incredible writer. I'll put a QR code to one of his latest projects, which was a compilation of all of his different writings. I'll also have the link in the description as well for you guys to go and check that out. Definitely do go and check it out. So a very big thank you to Mr. Yasser Musa and the National Institute of Culture and History. Next, I want to say a big thank you to Max Rangai and Kyra. If you guys know me, you guys know that these two have been they've been at the basis of my career, I would say. Since the very beginning, when I made my first dance video back in sixth form on TikTok in 2019 to now, they were a huge part of Destination 501 and again, a huge part of this podcast. And even though you guys don't see them that much on camera, they're always there behind the scenes, making sure that everything runs smoothly. So I'm very grateful for them. And I'm very grateful for their friendship and also for their continued help with my production ideas that I always come up with. I also want to thank my girlfriend Sade Lewis and her family. I am using their garage right now to film this episode, so yes. I also want to thank my parents and my family and every single supporter and viewer and listener to this podcast, because of course this wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have gotten 20 episodes deep if it wasn't for the viewers and the supporters. I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't have this platform if it wasn't for you all, if it wasn't for the viewers and the supporters. I spent the last 6 years creating this platform, and my goal for this podcast was to create a space where I get to have a conversation with other incredibly talented Belizeans in their respective fields and share this platform with them and show you guys the people who I support and why you should support them as well. So with that being said, I also have to thank the guests who are a part of this podcast. So Yastalia, Izzy M, Nella Player, Deanne Janae, Ernestine Carballo, Candice Williams, Nicole Craig, Beeswood, Wani Watch and Naya Villanueva, Lindsay Sinai, Destiny Longsworth, and to Joshua Arana. I say a big thank you as well. Thank you for taking the time out to come on to my podcast and to have such a meaningful conversation with me. I'm very grateful for the conversation that I got the chance to have with every single one of these guests. And I hope that you all would continue to support them because they are all incredibly talented, they're all incredibly smart, and they all deserve your support. Creating this podcast has been an incredibly fun journey, one that I'm grateful to have had the experience of doing, from the planning to recording the episodes to watching each episode play out every single Wednesday, and the reception, the support that I've been getting from each episode. I'm so grateful for it all. Could not be here if it wasn't for your support. And in the meantime, until we come back again in season 2, you guys have all of the episodes to go back and watch. So if you guys want to, you can start from episode 1 again, and by the time you get to episode 20, episode 1 of season 2 should be out. Views. It's been a fun ride, season 1. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you haven't yet, go ahead and check out all of the other episodes of the Captain 501 broadcast season 1. Follow me on my different social media pages, Captain Cadle, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The videos are up on YouTube and the audio is available to stream on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Go support the other incredible guests that you all saw these last 4 months. And as always, remember to know your culture, your history, and your heritage is to know yourself. Continue to make use of tools like Access 501 and the 501 Academy, and we will see you all back here again in January of 2026 for the Captain 501 broadcast season 2. With that said, this has been the Captain 501 broadcast season 1. Deuces.
Hey guys, it's your girl Yastalia, and I'll be on this week's episode of the Captain 501 broadcast. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, it's your girl here, Izzy M, and catch me on the next episode of the Captain 501 broadcast.
Outer International. Well, I don't know that Nello player, and this week I'll be on the Captain 501 broadcast. So tune in, look out, make sure you lock in.
This is Ernestine Belizean Soca Queen, and I keep it locked to Captain 501 broadcast. Keep it locked and don't change that dial.
Hey there, it's Diana Janae, and I'm encouraging you to stay tuned for my episode on the Captain 501 broadcast. Make sure you subscribe and follow his journey because you don't want to miss this episode. Bye, y'all.
Yo, what going on, everybody? It's your boy Kendis here, shot by Kendis, and I am this week's guest on the Captain 501 broadcast podcast. Make sure y'all tap in and see what's happening.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome none other than Nicole Craig.
Wow, well, thank you for that. I feel flattered.
Shout out to all the watchers out there. You already know what it is.
Okay, shut up. Okay, so please tune in to the next episode of the Captain 501 podcast, where Beeswood Studios will be promoting their next film, Tropical Hostage.
Hi guys, it's Nze. I'm going to be on the Captain 501 podcast. Make sure you tune in because it's going to be really fun.
Hi everybody, it's Destiny, and this week I'm on the Captain 501 broadcast. Make sure to stay tuned. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe.
Hey everybody, my name is Joshua Rana, and I'll be on this week's episode of Captain 501's broadcast.